Yes, lads, welcome back to the channel. This is the EFL preview for this weekend's games. Last weekend, it threw up a lot of surprises. The midweek games have also threw up a lot of surprises. So looking at this week, it has been very hard to pick winners in certain games. However, I have done. I'm going to be covering 5 games in the Championship, 3 games in League One, 3 games in League Two, but of course, giving the results for the rest of the games just in a bit less detail. So without further ado, let's get into this, starting off with League Two. And up first, we've got Walsall up against Salford. So Walsall, they've not had the best start to the season. Salford have had a very good start themselves. I do think this is going to be a tight game though. At the Poundland Stadium, I'm going to go with 1-1. And I think Walsall are going to be far better at home at digging in and getting these points. Salford away from home, they've shown us all that they're more than capable, but I'm going to be looking at certain players to really provide that extra quality for Salford if they're going to get the win. One of which is Ben Woodburn, who I think is going to be their key player, the player to watch. I just think in terms of breaking this Walsall team down, he's going to be the key for them. I just think he adds a lot of quality and has started the season quite well for Salford. As for Walsall, I'm looking at Jamie Jellis. I think he is their best player outright, but I'm looking at him now to really drive his team forward. Walsall, they look like they could be a team that could be floating around mid-table, maybe pushing up towards the playoffs. They're going to need players like him to push them on. So yeah, this one, I've got it as Walsall 1, Salford 1. Swindon now up against Shrewsbury, struggling Shrewsbury. They just haven't been able to get it together. There's been red cards, disappointment, assists to the other team from the halfway line. They've had it all so far this season. I'm predicting this is going to be another tough one. I'm going to go with Swindon 2, Shrewsbury 1. I just think that Swindon are going to have too much for them, especially at home. And Ian Holloway's side, yes, they're not the best defensively so far this season, but offensively they look so good. And you've got a Shrewsbury team that are struggling to score goals. As I'm recording this, they were losing 2-1 to Notts County. It was only about 25-30 minutes in, so the goals are still being conceded for them. I can't see that changing here. With that though, the player to watch for Shrewsbury is going to be Eli Harrison, on loan from Manchester United. If anyone's going to save them, it's got to be the goalkeeper. I just think, I don't know much about this lad. I've seen him in this couple of games that he's played. He looks all right, but I'm looking at him now to try and really show his value, but it's a lot of pressure to put on a young goalkeeper. So Shrewsbury, it could go from bad to worse. I see this game as Swindon getting the job done thanks to players like Joe Snowden. Big fan of Joe Snowden. Think he's settling in very well to life at Swindon, and I can see him having another good game. He'll be licking his lips at this Shrewsbury team, and I think he might even get a goal, maybe even an assist. But yeah, Joe Snowden, the player to watch for Swindon. And finally, what is not to love about this? It is Gillingham up against Crewe. Last result, Gillingham 4-1. Last result, Crewe 4-1. The two informed teams. Gillingham, I predicted them to lose to Chesterfield. Gillingham fans, they told me straight. They told me I was wrong. One of them actually even said it's going to be 4-1 to Gillingham. And it's one of those comments you read, you think, all right, mate. And he was correct. So fair play, whoever you are. But yeah, this is such a great game. A real advert for League Two football. No one, in my opinion, had Crewe up there. And I know we're still early doors, but they look such a good side this season. As do Gillingham. This is going to be a great game. How I've got it scoring goals. I'm going to go for 2-2. I just think both of these teams are scoring for fun, whilst also conceding the odd goal here and there. Gillingham, of course, unbeaten, going to be strong at home. Crewe looks so good. It doesn't matter where they go, home or away. This is going to be a great game. So the key player for Gillingham, I've got it down as Armani Little. I'm just looking at him to really make the difference. As for Crewe, I'm going to go for Tommy O'Reilly, on loan from Aston Villa. He was my best signing for them, the one to watch, and he's proven it. What a start to life at Crewe he has made. The Crewe fans seem to really like him. Bit quiet midweek, but I'm expecting him to come back. He'll relish the big games. So yeah, Tommy O'Reilly, key player for Crewe. As for the rest of League Two, Newport 0, MK Dons 2. They're just going to have too much for them, but Newport will probably give it a better go than most have. Accrington 1, Grimsby 3. Grimsby very quietly doing some very good things this season. I think they'll have no problem getting past Accrington, and they are scoring for fun. I said last time out, Bristol Rovers, they were desperate for a point. They got one. Now I'm going to give them a goal. I'm going to go Bristol Rovers 1, Cambridge 1. It's been a bad start for Cheltenham. It had been a pretty mediocre start for Barnet. They got a big win in midweek. I'm going to go for Barnet 1, Cheltenham 0. Colchester up against Barrow. Colchester, they look good going forward. I'm not sure defensively. Colchester 2, Barrow 2. Crawley got a point against MK Dons. Is this the turning point for them? I don't think no. Amari Patrick, Tranmere, I think they're going to get the job done. 2-1 to them on the day. Fleetwood now up against Oldham. I can see this being 2-1 to Fleetwood. Oldham will give it a good go, but Fleetwood will be too strong at home. Harrogate up against Chesterfield. A lot of people wrote Harrogate off at the start of the season, but they're definitely a tough place to go to. I'm going to go Harrogate 1, Chesterfield 1. Notts County currently winning 2-1 against Shrewsbury as I'm filming this. I think they're going to actually lose 2-1 to Bromley. Again, Bromley wrote them off. They're clearly here to stay. Now then, time for League One. Up first, we have got Luton against Cardiff. I just think it's going to be a very tight affair. Cardiff, as I say, not quite as good away from home. I'm going to be looking at players like Ruben Colwill to drive their team forward. He's going to want that ball into feet on the half turn, middle of the pitch, creating chances and bringing Cardiff up the pitch. Luton, however, they're going to want to control the game, control the tempo. And so for their key player, I think it's going to be Ali, who's just going to get the ball, sit on the ball, dictate, as I say, but also weave and create chances for them. So as far as games go, I think this is going to be a very good one, but I see it being a draw. Bolton now up against Lincoln. I see this as Bolton 2, Lincoln 1. Bolton to just have a little bit too much for them on the day. However, I do think it's going to be a close game. I've been impressed with Lincoln so far, but I've been more impressed with Bolton, especially at home. So Bolton to get the job done. In terms of the key player for Bolton, I'm going to go with Koiser Dewberry, who just looks to be a really, really good player. Someone who's destined to play higher than League One. Whether it's with Bolton or not, we'll have to see, but he's made a great start to his life at Bolton and looks a threat every time I see him play. As for Lincoln, I'm looking at their main threat to be Freddie Draper. I think he's got so much more to his game than just up and down the pitch. So yeah, Freddie Draper as the key player for Lincoln. Up next, Plymouth versus Blackpool. A great game on paper. I think this could be the very first Al Sacchio of the season. You've got Tom Cleverley. Horrible start to life at Plymouth. Steve Bruce, who's having a horrible time at Blackpool. Obviously, the 3-2 win against Huddersfield was huge for them, but realistically, it's two managers that should be higher in the table, struggling early doors. So I don't think either of them's going to get sacked after this game, but believe me, those two are the hottest names right now to be first out the door. And I think both managers would be very happy to settle with a point, and that is what they will do. I think this game has 2-2 written all over it. Blackpool clearly still defensively not very good. Plymouth also defensively not very good. It's going to be so interesting to see who starts, who gets benched. So yeah, 2-2 on the day. Key player for Blackpool, I think, is going to be George Honeyman, who's just someone that I see as a lot of quality there. And if anyone's going to get them a goal or create a chance, it's going to be him. As for Plymouth, it's Xavier Amachi. Again, another player with lots of quality. When teams aren't doing well, you look at the players with all the quality, and those two have the most in the two teams, in my opinion. So I'm looking at them. Are we going to see any excellence from either of them? As I say, both managers would take a point, and that's how I see this one going. As for the rest of League One then, I see Rotherham 1, Wigan 1. Wigan, disappointing midweek. I do think Rotherham will be able to at least get the point on the day. Wimbledon up against Barnsley. I'm liking Barnsley this season. I've also liked Wimbledon though. They've impressed me from where I thought they'd be at this stage. I'm going to go for Wimbledon 1, Barnsley 2, Conor Horahan, yet another win. Huddersfield up against Stevenage at home. 3-1 to me. They're going to be too strong for Stevenage. Mansfield up against Leyton Orient. Mansfield certainly a bit of a surprise package so far this season. I'm going to go for 1-1, Leyton Orient, a good side, but they really need to get it ticking. It's not quite got there for me just yet. Northampton, a bad start. Exeter, a very decent start. I'm going to go for Northampton 0, Exeter 2. Peterborough up against informed Bradford. I'm going to go for a 4-1 Bradford win. Bradford midweek, what a win for them to beat Stockport. They're going to continue the good form away from home again, but that won't matter. 4-1 to Bradford. Port Vale, they've struggled for goals. I'm going to guess they're not going to get one here. Port Vale 0, Doncaster 1. As we just mentioned, Bradford beat Stockport. Stockport coming now back against Burton. I think they're going to want to put a statement victory down. I'm going to go Stockport 2, Burton 0. Wycombe up against Reading. I've got this 0-0 all day long. Both sides struggling at the moment. Wycombe in particular, 0-0 on the day. Now then, on to the Championship. So up first, we've got Charlton against Leicester. I chose this one because I'm very interested to see how Leicester bounce back after that 2-1 defeat to Preston. Charlton at home, not an easy place to go to. In terms of injuries, the most notable one, Matty Godden, not quite fit for Charlton. As for Leicester, it's Christensen, who's also not fit. Both set to be back soon. Godden, I'm not sure how much of a role he'll play this season, but Christensen, I know Leicester are missing him at the moment. As for key player for Charlton, I'm going to go Connor Coventry. That Leicester midfield is very difficult to play against. If he can be at his best and really nullify that midfield, Charlton might even win the game. As for Leicester, I'm going to go with Fatuwu. I can't not pick this guy. He's so good. When he gets going, he's so hard to stop. So it's going to be interesting. Will we see he gets nullified as he did against Preston? Or is he going to make a claim for being the best winger in this league and get the interest from the Premier League boys back on him before the end of the window? Overall, though, Charlton, as I say, very good at home. 1-1 on the day for me. Coventry now up against QPR. QPR have signed all these players up front. We're yet to see them all play together. Are we going to see a couple more of them play this week? I think we are. As for Coventry, first game of the season, scoring goals was the issue. Second game of the season, they scored 5. So are we going to see an in-between? I think we will. Coventry, though, showed some good signs. However, defensively, they have to be better. Back at the CBS as well, so that will suit them. So I'm going to go 2-1 to Coventry because we're not going to quite see that full front 3/4 of QPR. I think Coventry have got too much anyway and will get the job done. They will be doing so without Ben Sheaf, and I will mention Josh Eccles as well, missing from that midfield, so not much depth there for Coventry. As for QPR, the lack of depth is back in defence. It's Jimmy Dunn, still quite not fit apparently, and Jake Clark-Slater, who still hasn't made it. Both of the key players, two players that did well in League One and have now got their championship moves. Ephron Mason-Clark for Coventry, live wire, really like this lad. I think when he gets going, he's very similar to like a Leon Bailey, St. Maximin kind of player. Very tricky, very skillful, but also very good at crossing the ball in as well. And of course, for QPR, it is Kone, made the move. We saw him briefly last week. I'm expecting him to now get the start, get the nod, and see what he's all about. Young striker, remember. It feels like he's been around for a lot longer than he is. So very keen to see how he gets on. Norwich up against Middlesbrough now. Norwich have done okay so far. Middlesbrough looked very strong. Beating Millwall 3-0 away from home was a fantastic result. They're going to want to keep that energy, channel it into this game, and get 3 points on the road again. 2 really tough away days back-to-back for them. But I don't think they will be able to. I think this game finishes 2-2. You've got some real live wires here. Goals in this game. Of course, you've got Morgan Whittaker for Middlesbrough, Josh Sargent for Norwich. They're the 2 players I'm looking at. They've done so well the last couple of weeks. I'm keen to see who's going to win the battle, who's going to win their team the game, or will it be a draw, as I think it will. Regardless, Norwich will be doing it without Forson. That is a big miss for them. So 2 squads that are almost at full capacity, going head-to-head, promises to be a great game. Up next, Sheffield United against Millwall. Sheffield United back at home, last time out at home, a 4-1 thumping to Bristol City. Millwall, on the other hand, last time they were at home, they lost 3-0 to Millwall. So both teams here coming off the back of some disappointing results. I'm looking at this one with draw written all over it. Sheffield United 1, Millwall 1. That's how I see this. Arbalasta still missing for Sheffield United. He'll slot straight back in as soon as he's fit and match ready. As for Millwall, no one really missing. So I've gone for Jensen as the goalkeeper, as the one that is missing. So regardless, Millwall will want to bounce back after that 3-0 defeat. And I'm going to look at Ivanovic, one of my favourite strikers in this league, to get the job done for them. If they are going to push on, he's going to be the reason. Sheffield United, though, I'm looking at Louis Barry. I was going to go for Gus Hamer, but I just think it's so obvious. But Louis Barry, I still think he's got a big part to play this season. Ruben Sales clearly likes him. Are we going to see Louis Barry really start hitting his strides? He's done it in League One. He hasn't done it in the Championship yet. Southampton now up against Stoke, a Stoke side that have done very well so far this season. Have they had a game against a Derby team I wasn't too keen on and a Sheffield Wednesday team in turmoil? Yes. But do they still look good? They do. You can only beat who is in front of you. Unfortunately for them, it's now Southampton, and they're not going to do so. Southampton 2, Stoke 0. That is how I see this game going. Injury-wise, it's James Bree for Southampton, and it's Talavirov for Stoke. Who knows if I've said that correctly, but he is missing for Stoke. Key player for Stoke, it is Mabama on loan from Manchester City. This lad looks the real deal. Already looking like he's definitely ready to stay as a Championship player, if not push higher and maybe become a Premier League player. It could have been Manahoff. He's also been superb this season. As for Southampton, I'm going to go for a player that hasn't quite got it going yet. It's Fernandes. There's a lot of interest in this lad. He could go on and has such a high potential, but he's got to start demonstrating it for Southampton. The move now looks unlikely, so buckle down, get your ideas sorted and start performing week in, week out. And if you want to earn yourself that move, go and get it. Or even better, help Southampton get promoted and then get the move then. So yeah, Fernandes to have a good game and really show everyone he's here and he's here to stay. As for the rest of the Championship then, I'm going to go Derby 1, Bristol City 2. Derby look like they can score a goal, but defensively some real issues. Bristol City, no goals last time, 4 on the first game of the season. I think they're going to get 2. Final score, Derby 1. Bristol City 2. Hull left it late for some heroics from Ollie McBurney up against Blackburn. Hull, of course, back at home. Ollie McBurney to drag his side once again? I think so. 1-0 against Blackburn. Swansea look quite good at home, up against Watford. I see this as 1-1. Watford, some good attacking players. I think they'll be able to get the job done, but Swansea will also score 2. Birmingham against Oxford. I'm going to go for Birmingham 3, Oxford 0. Oxford just aren't showing me enough as to why they'll stay in this league. Disappointing start for them. Birmingham, quite the opposite. They look absolutely fantastic. All credit to them. Preston, they beat Leicester last week. Are they going to do it again? No, they're not. I think Ipswich 2, Preston 1. Ipswich are going to start getting some results together now. They need to improve. They've got some key players back. I'm expecting the wins to come. West Brom made a promising start to life in the Championship under Ryan Mason. I'm going to go 2-1 winners against Portsmouth. Isaac Price, could he be the player of the season in the Championship? He certainly started that way. Wrexham up against Sheffield Wednesday. You've got 2 complete opposites here. You've got Hollywood backed and you've got not backed at all. I think Wrexham will get the job done, no problems. 3-1, I still see them conceding, but 3-1, Wrexham to get the win. Let me know your thoughts, lads. Do you think I've got that spot on? I'll, of course, be doing the review to see how I got on, to see how many I got right, and I'll be doing that after the action's taken place.